Hey everyone, it's Megan. Megan Dunsmore, if you don't know me. I am an actress, producer, and freedom coach. Giving you a slight change of scenery today. So I'm not sure I'm even qualified to talk about this topic. In fact, I'm probably really not. However, I am a consumer, so that's a good place to start. I can think about like 5 people off the top of my head that I know personally who would be better at talking about this topic than I am, but here we go. So, do you know what it even means to be a conscious consumer? My guess is that you do. So something that we have to do as human beings every single day, every single second, every single millisecond, every single moment is we have to make choices. And pretty quickly, we're going to say, I want this, I don't want that. I want this or that, or I'm going to buy this, or I'm going to skip that, or I need to use this thing, or I need to use that thing. It's just a part of interacting in the world. That's just something that we're asked to do. And every single time we make a choice like that, it has an impact, both on ourselves and on the business or service that we are taking advantage of, or the one that we are choosing to ignore, etc. There's a bigger impact on, again, this could be described by somebody way more qualified than I am about all of the intricate details about what the impact of speaking with our dollars or speaking with our money is about. What I will say about that is that there are a lot of companies and a lot of people who are doing a lot of really awesome things when it comes to how they do business, whether or not they give back at all, or if you're supporting small business. For example, like in the fitness world, if you go to a big box gym and you work with a personal trainer, in some cases, some fitness facilities are not awesome about how they're compensating their trainers. Others are incredible, so you need to do a little research. But in some of those big box gyms, your personal trainer might be seeing $20 an hour, and you might be paying over $100 for that person's time. So that's just something to think about, versus when you go to work with a trainer independently who's renting the space that they're working with you in, or they come to you in your house or your apartment and you pay them over $100. They're going to still deal with their own taxes. They're going to deal with whatever expenses they have to do that, but they're going to be able to see a much bigger chunk of that money that you're paying. So thinking about where your money is going, what the value is, what the impact is, whether or not you're purchasing products from a company that is women or minority owned, whether or not you're purchasing products from or services from a company that is green and interested in not having a negative net impact on the environment. These are just things that if they matter to you, do some research. If they don't matter to you at all, like totally fine. And I would be lying to you if I told you that I was a conscious consumer 100% of the time. I'm not. That's not the reality that I'm able to live under in my life. However, when I can, and in the purchases that matter to me, like the ones I do regularly, like I buy my vitamins and protein from a company that is certified carbon neutral that has no negative net impact on the environment. That's important to me. I also want to make sure that I'm supporting some of my small business owners who are women, who are people of color, who are trying to figure out how to have things happen. Whenever possible, like if I work with a coach, if I worked with an amazing business coach, Jen Lederer, last year, I like the fact that I was paying for her valuable time. So I was speaking towards supporting her business with my revenue at the time. And that was something that mattered to me. If I have a chance to, like if I need a service done, like if I need a website or I need someone to help me with social media or something as an entrepreneur, I want to look for a smaller connection to a company or to a person who really could benefit from having my work. Sometimes, in some cases, not all the time, in some cases that might mean I pay just slightly more for whatever that product or service is. And I would probably, like I've had an assistant in the past, and I could have absolutely outsourced and had a cheaper assistant had I done an online service or a virtual assistant or something like that. And at the time, I thought about it and I thought, well, this is a person, she's trying to be an actress, she's trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life, and my little bit of money didn't pay her very much. She didn't work for me a ton. My little bit of money made a big impact for her. And she was able to help me, and I was able to put some things back in there. So if we're thinking about like taking out of it whatever politics we have about being a conscious consumer, because there's tons of politics involved, if we just take that out for a second and we want to think about how am I speaking with my money? If we think about the fact that people, businesses, the environment, things like that are affected by how we do it, and we process the fact that that's a part of that decision, possibly that might make you pause and make a different one. Maybe not. Again, no judgment about that. But think about it. This relates again to paying people valuably for their time, or paying them appropriately is probably actually the real. I don't need to be Shakespeare today. Thinking about how we can appropriately compensate someone for their time, not expecting people to do work for us for free, unless there is something that they say that they want to offer or they get by it. Again, it's my choice to get on these videos and offer advice, and very often I'm offering fitness or nutrition advice that people do also pay me for. That's something that I take on. I'm choosing to give back and share that information because I have value to offer. But considering, like, if we're going to be a consumer of whatever product or service someone has, like, what value does that have for you? And make sure that it matches with who you're talking to. So this also kind of comes back to, so like from the consumer perspective, think about where that money is going. Do you care? Like, what details do you care about? Like, I can't tell you what matters to you. I know what matters to me in terms of, knowing where my money goes. And I think about those things every time that I have to buy something or spend something. I think about it. Then once you figure out what those things are and how they matter to you, then the next step would be to do a little research on the companies that you're supporting and just kind of make sure that they align with whatever your values are. And you don't have to feel like somebody else has to tell you, like, these are the values that you should follow as a conscious consumer, because that's what they believe. That's their connection to it. What you can do is, again, make your own ideas of what that is, and then do your research on the companies and providers that you're working with. Make sure they align. If they don't, you can shift to something or someone else. And from a sales perspective, any of us who offer products or services, including myself, I'm gonna commit to being accountable to what's the value that I'm providing, and really how does that break down, and what does someone actually get from me if they work with me as a nutritionist or as a fitness professional? Like, what, if they buy my Zero to Hero program, like, what are they actually getting? Why does it matter? Where does their money, like, what is it going to? Do I need to, as a company, figure out how to give back more? If someone invests or donates in a film project that my partners and I are working on, what is the integrity around how those resources are used? This is something we're always talking about in that company as well. And we feel a lot of responsibility for how that goes. But so, like, if someone posts a crowdfunding thing online and you feel like you want to donate, like, you're being a conscious consumer of their project. You're investing in what it is that they are telling you about, and you're believing in it, and you're showing them that you believe in what it is that they want to do. So just taking that second to be like, okay, you might love this person who's putting something up on crowdfunding. You might think that they're great, but you listen to the breakdown or you read the breakdown of what it is that they're raising money for, and it, like, doesn't align with who you are. At that point, like, maybe don't feel obligated to be a consumer of that project. You can even say to them, hey, I really support you. I think you're fantastic. This project isn't just quite what I'm aligned with, but I so look forward to seeing what else you have coming up. So this is really allowing us to make choice about where it goes and why. And that's what I want to offer you to do, is to find the freedom around, like, you get to choose where your money goes and who gets it and why. And nobody else has to tell you what is important to you about that, including me. And I sell stuff. So, you know, if you ever feel challenged by me and say, hey, Megan, like, you're selling this stuff and, like, I just don't feel like it's what I want, like, you can tell me that. I understand if you're not my audience, you can probably just, you know, let it go and move on. But understand that's okay if you're not into something, and if you're not, you know, you're choosing where it goes. So think about that. Maybe look at your credit card statement from the past month, or think about, like, where your money is going around the holidays. Look at it and say, wow, I purchased from this company a lot of times this last year. Let me look at them a little bit. Let me find out. Do they treat their employees well? Do they pay their employees well? Do they, you know, have good policies around, I don't know, maternal, like, leave or whatever it is, you know, for parents? Do they support, like, paying back student loans? Do they, you know, what kind of quality of life? Do they support the environment? Are they, you know, manufacturing everything in China? Are they manufacturing in the United States? Like, think about those things and see whether or not that company matches with what you want. And then head into the new year and say, hey, well, maybe I'm going to shift from this company to that one. And no judgment about it, but it might be worth looking at. We can make an impact that way. So I hope this was interesting. This was sort of a last minute, off the seat of my pants topic. I didn't know really what I wanted to talk about today. But I appreciate you guys checking in and watching and supporting my videos every week. Again, I'm Megan Densmore. I'm an actress, producer, and freedom coach, and this is your Freedom Friday video. Have a great weekend, everyone, and happy holidays.